So the USDA, the Summer Food Service Program, is provided by the USDA. We provide federal funding, and each state agency administers the program. It may be your State Department of Education, your State Department of Health and Human Services, or even your State Department of Agriculture. I will provide a link at the end of the presentation so you can find your state contact. They'll really be your best friend in answering any of your summer meals questions. And the Summer Meals Program is a reimbursement program. So the more summer meals that are served by organizations like you all, public housing authorities, the more funds the state receives. And so explained in the simplest terms, the Summer Food Service Program, aka the Summer Meals Program, provides free nutritious meals to children ages 18 years old and younger in low-income areas during summer months. This includes infants as well because they are under the age of 18. Organizations such as public housing authorities, nonprofits, food banks, schools, local government agencies, faith-based groups can serve the meals during summer months when school is out. Some serve the summer meals all summer long. Other groups decide to only serve the summer meals for 4 to 6 weeks. As long as the children have access to healthy meals, we at the USDA are happy. So what are some of the benefits to families and communities? First and foremost, the program ensures that children get the nutritious food that they need during the summer. Second, when students eat free or reduced price school meals during the school year, it helps parents stretch their family's budget. Summer meals can do the same thing during the summer when they no longer have access to those free or reduced price school meals. Additionally, the Summer Meals Program does not require this, but many summer meal sites offer activities to the children. Activities have been shown to be one of the greatest ways that children come back to a summer meal site. And this is important because if children don't come to your site, obviously those meals cannot be served, and then your sponsor, who we'll talk about later, won't get reimbursed for those meals. So it makes sense to, if you want to become a summer meal site, it makes sense to attract as many students to your site as possible so that they receive those free meals. And one of the best ways to do it is to provide them fun activities, whether they be mental or physical activities. And then finally, if done right, summer meals can be used to bring community organizations in your area to your site to partner with you. A lot of organizations get funding for youth development activities, and since your site is already bringing in children, they'll want to partner with you to put on summer activities and other creative things. So really, if you become a summer meal site, you will become a leader in your community. So what is the challenge for the program? We are only reaching about 1 in 6 eligible children. And how do we get this number? We go by the amount of children that receive free or reduced price school meals during the school year, which is about 22 million children. But when summer begins, only a fraction, a small percentage of those students get access free summer meals. And why is this? Families and communities don't know about the program. They don't know where to go to receive the summer meals. There are a lack of sites, sites being organizations that serve the summer meals. Transportation issues, since there are no school buses usually during the summer taking students to school. Children can't get to the sites. And this is true in urban areas as well, where parents may be reluctant to let their children go even a block or two to get to a summer meal sites. And then obviously there's lack of volunteers to keep sites fun for kids and teens to keep them coming back. And Eric and Tisha, our presenters, will talk about some of the ways that they overcome these challenges. And I won't spend too much time on this because Eric and Tisha will elaborate more on this, but basically how can you as a housing agency participate? You can be a site, be a sponsor, partner with another organization that is a summer meal site, or simply promote the program. Hang up signs, email your families, residents, send letters, and spread the word. So what is a site? Simply put, a site is the place where meals are served, and sites are ideally located in a place where children naturally are, which makes the public housing authorities an ideal candidate to be a site, and that's why we're putting this webinar on, and that's why you're here today. So what does a site do? You get trained by your sponsor organization, and I didn't want to go into what a sponsor is because it's a little more complicated. If you're a sponsor, you actually get reimbursed for the meal served, but you have to do a lot more administrative work, financial, and accounting as well. So most of the time, public housing authorities are sites, but if you want to be a sponsor eventually, you can work with your state agency to find out how you can become a sponsor. But usually a sponsor is either a food bank, or it could be a Boys and Girls Club, YMCA. It can be Meals on Wheels. It could be a faith-based organization. So you'll most likely team up with a sponsor organization in your area for them to work with you to train you as a site. And as a site, what else do you do after you get trained by your sponsor organization? You order and receive meals from your sponsor. So you can, at the beginning, you'll estimate how many kids you think will come to your site, and you can say, hey, sponsor, we think that 30 kids will come to your site, and they'll deliver 30 meals to you so that you can serve them to the kids. And if 30 meals wasn't enough, then you'll just go ahead and keep adjusting that number until you get the right amount of meals to limit food waste, obviously, and also have enough to serve every student that comes to your site. And then you serve the meals that have been delivered by your sponsor, and your site is run by resident staff or volunteers. You make sure that the kids eat the meals at the site and are safe. You make sure the food is safe and kept at a proper temperature. You do not discriminate against any child. Any child that comes up to your site and wants a free meal, you have to give them a free meal. They don't have to sign up or anything. They get the free meal, and then they eat it at your site. And you can do activities if you want with them or not. It's not required. And then you prepare accurate records of deliveries, meals served, and other paperwork so your sponsor can be reimbursed for those meals served. And then lastly, as I said, it's not required, but plan fun, physical, or mental activities. So I'm going to wrap up my presentation, but we have some great tools on our website, the USDA Food and Nutrition Service website. I'll send out all the presentations to you after the webinar so that you can click on some of these links. But we have a great map that you can enter your address or just your zip code, and you can see all the different summer meal sites in your area. So if you type in your public housing authority address in there, you can see all the different sites that are in your area, and you can possibly team up with them to do activities or send your kids over to their site. Or if there's no sites in your area, it means that it would be great for you to become a summer meal site to fill in that gap where there's no summer meal site in your vicinity. And then again, there is a link to all the state agencies, your contact. You can email them or call them with any questions. Here's some more summer meals resources. We also have a great video list of summer meal shorts, and we do have a video about housing authorities featuring Tisha Coleman, one of our presenters, so check that out when you get the chance. And lastly, I just want to share this slide. Maslow's Hierarchy of Human Needs. I'm pretty sure all of you know about this, but at the bottom of that pyramid, there's physiological needs: food, water, shelter. You as a housing authority take care of the shelter. We as a USDA Summer Meals Program take care of the food. And then after that, you with your fun activities, bringing the community together, we'll work our way up the pyramid and then get to self-actualization, and your residents, your youth, and your community will just continue to grow. And now we're gonna take a lot of these questions that you had and get them answered. Okay, so quickly for Oakland and Broward, this is a simple one. How long do you serve the meals for? 1
hour. Yeah, we do an hour, 5 days a week. It's open. We also do 5 days a week for about 4 hours a day.
Okay, thank you. And I know you both went over this, but there was a lot of questions about hiring the residents. Can you quickly just explain again how you do that, Oakland and Broward?
You want to, Lydia?
So this is Oakland. What we do is we advertise to our residents that we have an employment opportunity available, and it is a standard employment interview, screening, references. Individuals are then selected and attend training. And again, we do have some who repeat year over year, and then we also have slots that are open for newcomers. We also ensure that we have enough interns to cover in the event that somebody misses a day or falls ill or something as well.
For Broward, we pretty much do it the same way, but our screening, we do the screenings and everything through our sponsor. So they do fill out an application. They do go through the process of interviewing, and but it's all done through our sponsoring agency.
Okay, thank you. This question is from Damaris Carbone. Are public housing residents able to count their volunteer time toward the community service requirement? Oakland or Broward?
For us, they right now don't count it. We could try and do that and sign off, but we're not doing that at this point.
And for us, we're no longer a public housing authority, so we don't have to use that requirement for our residents anymore.
Okay. Okay, here's some questions that I'll be able to answer. Do the menus have to be approved by a government agency? Yes, there are dietary guidelines and requirements for what goes into the meals, and sometimes our FNS regional office will take a look at your records and what goes into the meals to make sure that they meet the dietary guidelines. Your sponsor is the one that usually takes care of that. So as a site, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But yes, the meals have to meet our dietary guidelines and nutrition requirements.
We just have an antidote to that they learn the meal schedule, and we have popular days and less popular days.
That's fair enough.
We were
okay,
able to get around that this year because we took on a new catering company, and literally almost every day and every week the meal was different. So that was exciting for us this year because we changed our catering company.
Okay. Yes, and there's some sponsors and sites out there that actually will allow a site to offer the meals to adults, people over the age of 18, for a price, and then they can use that money to put back into their program and improve meal quality that way as well. And by offering meals for a price to adults, that also encourages adults to come out and eat with their children. So this program is really creative, really flexible to the different situations that you're in. So your best friend is your state agency and your sponsor. Work with them to modify the program to your needs. So let's see. There's a lot of questions about, is this PowerPoint available? Yes, I'll be sending out Eric's and Tisha's presentation as well as mine to everyone after this webinar. Let's see. I'm trying to go through all the questions. Okay, Liz Chipman says, please explain the reasoning behind not allowing children to take any portion of the meal off-site. That's what we call congregate feeding, and the reason is it's a statutory requirement. It's required by law. You can ask for a waiver because I know sometimes, especially in Florida, it can get really hot. You don't want your kids baking out in the sun, so you could apply for a waiver. And again, your state agency is your best friend for that. Well, here's a question from Lynn Busby. Do you all, Oakland or Broward, think it's easier or better to bring the meals to the children or bring the children to the food?
I think Broward really answered that. Tisha did, about using it as an outreach and community event and building community and having the children come to the food. But for us, and I think for you, Tisha, they don't really come to the food. They come to the recreation activities, and the food's the add-on.
Well, yeah, we learned that very, very early in our first year, because when we initially started, it really was about the food. But those were one of the lessons learned in our first year that you had to have some activities. And once we did that, the participation started to grow, and there was a consistency in the children, because we do lunch and snacks. So when the children would go home for lunch, they wouldn't come back for the snack. And once we started doing some of the other, added in some of the other services and activities, the children wouldn't go home, which was a good thing for us, because it was just a rare opportunity that you get to have everyone there and just use that for management to come in and talk about things, and it was just a win-win for us once we really learned what we needed to do in the program.
Excellent. Thank you, Tisha. So we're at the top of the hour. I just want to answer one more question and then send out one more question to Eric and Tisha. One question was about serving these meals during vacation, during winter break or spring break, or even during the school year after school. And the USDA Food and Nutrition Service has a program for that. It's called the Children. I think it's the Children and Adult Care Food Program, and within that program, it's called the At-Risk After School Meals Program. I'll send you guys some information on that, just in case you, as a public housing authority, wants to use that program. And if you use Serve Summer Meals, there is a streamlined application process to be able to serve meals for after school during the school year. So look out for that. And my final question for Tisha and Eric is, there was a question from a lady. It was a pretty good question. Okay. Can a person start small with just their apartment community and maybe the following year enlarge it to include more area?
Absolutely. I mean, starting small is good. We started with the foresight in terms of our housing development when we first started, and then we grew into a larger program. We learned a lot of lessons, so starting small is a good idea, and it just helps develop your program, and you learn good lessons, and then you're able to expand it into something bigger and something better. So I would say yes.
For us, I would check with your local agency that is administering the program. For us, you have to have 25 kids, I believe. And if you drop below, they're going to not do it, so you need to have 25 participants. Remember, everybody who shows up gets to eat. There's no paperwork, so they just show up and eat, so it's not a hard threshold if you have something going on and do your outreach. And since it's the last question, I just want to thank Jimmy for pulling this together. It means a lot to us to make sure our families have access to healthy foods and try and address the health issues. I also just want to, because she's on the line, Maria Queen is on the line from HUD, and thank her for her efforts over the years at a lot of the youth initiatives that Oakland's done, and also to Ron Ashford. I don't think he's on the call, but tell him I said hey. Thank you all.
Okay, so that concludes our webinar. I'd like to thank Eric Johnson and his colleagues, Lenita and Patricia Wells at the Oakland Public Housing Authority for presenting, as well as Tisha Coleman, the Residence Relations Manager from Broward County. I think you're no longer a housing authority, a housing development, but
no, we're not a public housing authority anymore.
Okay, excellent. But I'd like to thank both of our presenters, as well as Maria Lana Queen from HUD for helping us promote this webinar. And I think this has gone well. Sorry about the technical difficulties early on during the webinar, and we'll try to fix those problems. And hopefully maybe we'll have another webinar for you on whatever topic that interests you, maybe the after-school meals program. So look out for that, and thank you all, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Jimmy.
Thanks, Tisha. Thanks, Eric.